Well, joining us live now is the Israeli government spokesperson, Eylon Levy. Eylon, thanks for your time. So this incursion into northern Gaza, what was the purpose of it?
Thank you for having me on the show. Israel is going to go into the Gaza Strip and totally demolish the whole of Hamas's terrorist and governing capabilities in the Gaza Strip. That's in response to the October 7th massacre when over 1,400 of our people were murdered. We're going to wipe out Hamas. Now, in order to do that, the IDF has been clearing the ground. You know, these are places that have been mined, booby-trapped. There are shafts where terrorists might jump out and shoot at our troops. So what the army has been doing is preparing the ground so that our troops can move in and target Hamas on the ground. We're going to go after every single Hamas terrorist, every rocket launcher, every missile silo, every command post used by Hamas inside the Gaza Strip, so that nothing like the horrible, horrible massacre we saw on October 7th can ever happen again.
Did you find anything?
Have we found anything? The army was engaged by the enemy.
So the point being of this incursion, like you were just basically talking about, is to prepare the ground, potential mines or anything like that. Did you find anything of that nature before you decided to pull your troops back?
Specific operational questions, I would refer to the IDF, but this was a serious operation, and we were engaged by the enemy as well, and the IDF will enter and complete this operation to defeat Hamas when the time is right.
All right, well, that was my next question. When?
I'm not going to speculate on the precise movement of the troops, but it's coming. The world needs to understand this is only just the beginning. We're going to move in accordance with our operational needs. You know, the United States did not move against al-Qaeda the morning after September 11th, and the world didn't move against ISIS the day after the first ISIS attack. We're not shooting from the hip. We're going to use the full force of the IDF, but carefully and judiciously in accordance with our operational needs.
Are we talking days, weeks?
I'm not going to speculate.
Is the IDF ready? Because there have been some claims that the IDF is not.
The IDF is completely ready for this mission. We're also ready to face a war on two fronts, should we have to. Let's also remember that Hezbollah, Hamas's twin sister in Lebanon, has been escalating its attacks on Israel with rockets and anti-tank missiles against our people, against our forces in the north. We've been very clear we don't want to fight a war on two fronts at the same time. But if Hezbollah drags us into a war in the north, we're ready to fight. We're ready to win. For now, we're focusing on the campaign against Hamas inside the Gaza Strip in response to the October 7th massacre, and the next stage is coming.
Okay, the reporting out of the US suggested that the US had asked you to delay the ground invasion to free up more time to get more hostages out. So how much time are you going to give to get those hostages out?
We're doing everything we can in order to get the hostages out. Let's remember, we're talking about 220 people, more than 220, including 30 children, including babies. There are babies ripped out of their parents' arms, orphaned, because they murdered their parents and took them inside the Gaza Strip. And we're going to do everything we can in order to bring them home and at the same time destroy the terror organization that hurt them so that it can never again abduct Israeli children.
Just onto the death toll, Hamas claims the death toll in Gaza now is upwards of 7,000 victims from Israeli bombing. They're now saying that they've got IDs to verify that number. What questions would you still have, though, about that accuracy?
If you were to listen to Hamas, there are no civilians in Israel and there are no terrorists inside the Gaza Strip. Now, look, clearly the humanitarian suffering inside the Gaza Strip is heartbreaking. No one is disputing that. The suffering as a result of Hamas's decision to declare war on us on October 7th. None of us want to be in this situation. But let's remember what happened just a few days ago. Hamas put out a press release saying that Israel had launched an airstrike on a hospital and killed 800 people. And when the sun came up in the morning, it was clear the hospital was still standing. There had been no airstrike because it was hit by errant rocket fire from Palestinian Islamic Jihad. And the death toll was so much lower. So, you know, when we talk about Gaza health authorities, we're talking about Hamas. We're talking about ISIS. And not only should everyone be extremely skeptical about what Hamas is saying, we should actively disbelieve anything it's saying because we know that it's waging a war of propaganda against us. We know that it just took the whole international media for a ride last week. It went along with it. And I think it's important we be much more skeptical about the information that this ISIS-like terrorist organization is putting out to try to win international sympathy and stop Israel from exercising its right of self-defense in going after it and destroying the organization that committed that horrific massacre on October 7th.
Eylon Levy, the Israeli government spokesperson, thanks for your time.